How's it going, everybody? Welcome back into another video, and today is another movie review. This is the first movie review. Let me take a sec. Let me take a second check on my phone. This is the first movie review I've done since let me look. It's been a hot minute. Yeah, what I thought. Shang-Chi a month ago. It's the first review I've done in a month, and various reasons why I haven't done the reviews. But yeah, we're back with another review today. Very excited to talk about this one because this is a very interesting one to discuss and dissect, and it's a lot more than just the film itself. But I think it's also about it's about social media and how we critique film and the over hate and over the over memeing of film and following trends just because other people are doing it. That's something I'm very interested to dissect, but I'm not going to dissect that in this video. I will tell you where I'm going to dissect that at the end of the video. But today, you probably know what I'm talking about when I talk about that stuff. Today, we are talking about the newest Broadway musical adaptation to film. We're talking about Dear Evan Hansen today, and very interested to talk about this one. I'm very interested to see your thoughts down below in the comments, and that's what I want to ask you all first. Go down below in the comments and let me know what you thought about this film. And let me know your thoughts. Don't just say it's terrible because everyone else is saying it's terrible. If you legitimately enjoyed it, tell me you did. Tell me what you thought and tell me why you thought that. Now, if you genuinely didn't like it, then that's fine. That's your opinion. But if you actually enjoyed it, let me know down below in the comments. I want to talk to you guys about that. But basically what we're going to do today is I'm going to give you the review. Same as usual, the review, and then we'll get into the point breakdown. And I think without further ado, let's kind of get into it. So I'm going to do the positives and I'll do the negatives. I was considering doing the negatives first and then getting into the positives for this one, but I think I'm just going to keep it in the same standard format that I usually do it in. So we'll start with the positives. Ben Platt and Kaitlyn Dever are fantastic in this film. Ben Platt looks fine. He looks fine. Like he looks like a high school. Like, I don't know what you want me to tell you. I've seen way worse adaptations of older people back into high schoolers. He looks fine. It's believable. He blends in. I bought it. I don't know what you want me to tell you. He looked fine. So there you go. And he was good. I mean, he brought the emotion that was necessary. But he's not even the best part. I think Kaitlyn Dever really does shine. I've been such a fan of hers since Booksmart, which was one of my favorite films of 2019. She is fantastic in everything that she does, and she brought it to this film. Now, there are moments throughout this film, not just with other characters, just with Kaitlyn Dever or Ben Platt, that are a little melodramatic. I understand that. I saw that. I thought they were a little out of place. But again, you also have to remember that this is being adapted from a Broadway musical. Very different medium. And from what I've heard from lovers of the... From what I've heard from lovers of the play, this is a pretty close adaptation to the musical to film. So you got to look at it through that lens. And that's what I think a lot of people aren't doing. When they're over critiquing and over hating this film, I don't think they're looking at it through that lens. The music obviously is fantastic. I think that that's one of the shining parts of the musical, and I think that that's a reason why people love the musical so much is the music. I had only ever heard "You Will Be Found" ever. I hadn't heard any of the other music, so I was very interested. And you guys know I love musicals, so I was very interested to enjoy and embrace this music for the first time. And I did. And I thought it was fantastic. I thought it worked for the story. It was very emotional. That the last song that was played by Connor was very, very emotional. And the music worked. I really, really liked it. So the emotion here is resounding. Now, obviously, this is a sad story. We know this. We know going in what it's about. It tackles very deep themes. About mental health, suicide, things like that. But the emotion works. It doesn't always work, and I'm going to get into this with the writing. I have the writing in negative, but when it needs to, it works. Now, you don't need to shove emotion in your face every 5 seconds, which is what they did in this film, but there are the moments that are impactful, the moments that kind of got me a little choked up. and it did make me elicit certain emotions that I know it was going for. So I got to give some respect to that. I don't think the emotion is the best is 100% great, but there are moments that really worked, that left an impact that I really respected and liked. So the emotion worked. Themes. The themes didn't always land, obviously. And again, I will dissect that more in the negative with the writing, but I think the intentions were there. I think that the portrayal of mental health and the overall message of you are not alone is resounding. And yes, the haters can hate on this movie all they want, but in the end, the story has the right intentions. It may just not have been executed that well. That's what I want to say about that. I think that the themes about you are not alone, there are people there for you to help if you need help, those themes resound throughout this film. They're just not always executed right. So I have respect for the themes that they're trying to convey. I just don't always think that the execution was completely there. But again, I'll get into that in the negative. This film took risks. Did they always work? No, but I respect it for that. I think the editing for some of this is very jarring and choppy. It was a choice they made. I will give them credit for taking the risk. It didn't work. I think you edit it more linearly and not all cut up and jumping around. For some of the music sequences, I think it probably would have been better, but that's what they decided to do, and I'll give them credit for the risks. They just didn't really work. That's the good, the kind of semi-lukewarm good, I guess. But let's get into the bad. Amy Adams, what the heck are you doing in this film? What are you doing? So she is the most melodramatic of anyone in this movie. And I get that she's trying to play a grieving mother. I could never imagine a mother having to go through that. But it was weird. It was weird. She was weird in this film. And it didn't work. And I love Amy Adams. I think she's a really great actress. But she did not... She was the most out-of-place part of this entire film. She was not good. And that pains me because I was excited to see her in the film. And she was not good. So, yeah, that's the thing. Yeah. So the writing, obviously, that's the worst. Not the worst part, but one of the parts of the film that struggles a lot. But I do want to make this point. Everyone is taking that and making it about the film. It is an adaptation of a Broadway musical, so everyone's saying that the writing sucks, that the writers are terrible, and they're that's the whole reason for hating the film. But you got to remember that they are adapting something that already exists. So maybe not absolutely destroying the writers of the film. We should be looking at the writers of the play, because they're the ones that originally wrote this, and I don't understand completely where all the hate's coming from. The story is not great at times. The next point I have is there's no consequences for really what Evan does, besides the fact that he loses the second family that he wishes he had. Now, yeah, that's pretty jarring for him, but in the grand scheme, there really isn't any consequences, besides kind of just being hated by the school for doing what he did. So you know what, actually, when I think about it, there are some consequences, but for what he does, he's very manipulative. There's just really not a lot of consequence there, and there should be. He's not that great of a person. He does some bad stuff. He over manipulates. I didn't like that. But then you look on the flip side, and he also is dealing with a lot. There's a lot of things that he's not sure about, but I'm trying to tiptoe because I don't want to piss anybody off. So yeah, the writing isn't entirely strong. There's a lot of things that I didn't enjoy about it. I don't think that it's very cohesive all the way through. I think that the motivations of our character, while they seem good at times, are just not great. And again, it goes back to there not being any consequences for our main character for making those really bad decisions. Did have a knot in my stomach once the letter went out, and you guys, I'm going to tiptoe around that because that's spoilers, but once something happens in the third act and he is really backed into a corner, my stomach did drop because I'm like, this is not good. But he really didn't suffer anything other than not talking to the family anymore. That's kind of it. And that's the thing. So I don't know. I'm a little lukewarm on the writing. I don't think it's great. I think the story has good intentions, like I said, with the themes above, but I just don't think that they were executed that well. And whether that's the screenplay or some of the performances, Amy Adams, or some of the technical stuff, which I don't think the technical stuff is really that bad. I think it's fairly soundly done. I just think that the execution is poor in that. That's what I'll say about it. The third act is incredibly choppy. The first two acts I could get on board with. I really didn't have a problem with anything really in the first two acts besides some of the manipulation of Evan. But the third act really just kind of gets ridiculous. Not at all believable or real. I didn't really like it. I think the ending ends on a rather hopeful note, which I enjoyed, but the majority of the third act is just really poorly done and all over the place, and I didn't enjoy that about it. It all comes back to the writing. I think the writing tries to do too much, tries to convey too many themes, and then they have to resolve everything in the third act, which is a lot. And making Evan as unlikable of a character as he is, especially in the third act, was a sour choice for me. I didn't like that. So I think that there's a lot that could have been improved. I don't think it's the monstrosity everyone's made it out to be, but I do definitely think that there are issues with it. I don't think this is a perfect movie. You will see that in my rating. I don't even give it like 3.5 or 4 stars. Like I don't rate it that high, but I'm not gonna give it a half a star. Like I think it's a relative. Like I think there are good things about this movie. I think there are things that should be praised about this movie. I just don't think that everything should be praised. I think there are some problems with it. It's incredibly flawed. So what I'm going to continue to say about this movie is incredibly flawed. But if you like the play, go watch it. If you're interested to see it, go watch it. It is got a lot of redeeming qualities about it. It's not a terrible film. Anyone that says that, I don't know what's up with them. I don't know. Obviously, it's their opinion, so I will respect their opinion, but don't listen to what anyone else has to say. If you're excited about this film and you see the critic reaction that's terrible, don't feel down. Still go watch it. You might enjoy it. That's all I'm going to say. This is a note I wrote at the bottom of my notebook. This is what happens when social media bands together to over-hate and over-meme a film. We see it time and time again. And this time it just happens to be around this film. And that all started in the first trailer when we saw Ben Platt and everyone was saying, this is weird, why is a 20-something-year-old playing a high schooler? And then it snowballed and snowballed and snowballed into saying, okay, well, we didn't like that, so we're going to over-hate the film. That's a problem with the film Twitter community and the toxicity of that community. You're not allowed to like something that other people don't like. And this film has gotten a bad rap. Again, it's incredibly flawed. There are things wrong with it, but it's not a half-star film. There's good redeeming things about it. So this is the perfect example of Twitter just banding together and over-hating a film because it's cool. I don't like that. I've never been about that. I always go into films making my own opinion, and my opinion is that this film is not as bad as people are making it out to be. So if you were excited about this, still be excited. Still go watch it. There are good things about it. That's what I'll say. Now, before I get into the point breakdown, I will say I'm going to go more in depth about this topic on my podcast. I started a podcast finally. It's called Fanatic Film Review. Every week, I'm going to try to do at least one episode a week for you guys. I'm going to be deep diving into a film I watched the week before, talking more about the themes, the writing, everything about it, how it can do an award season, and go into different storylines like the overhate of film or the toxicity of film Twitter and things like that, which is what I'm going to go into in this episode, which is actually going to be episode 2, about Dear Evan Hansen. I'm going to go more in depth about the toxicity of film Twitter and the overhating and over memeing of films to their demise. I'm gonna do that in this next episode of the podcast. So you can go check it out. I'm gonna link the podcast feed down in the description. I've got a trailer up already, and episode 1 will be up this week, which is actually going to be the Suicide Squad episode that I did on the live stream. I'm not going to be doing the live streams anymore. This is solely just going to be a podcast. It's not going to go up anywhere. But if you are interested in hearing my more in-depth thoughts about film, I feel like this is going to be a longer form medium where I can talk more about film and have really, really insightful conversations about the films that I watch. And not only that, I'm also going to have guests on. We'll get like Sasha, Chris, Trevor, Jaron, Zach, I want to have guests on as well. It's not just going to be me. The first few episodes will just be me because I still need to schedule guests out to talk about these films. But for now, go check it out. I'm very excited about this. This is kind of the new project I'm taking on. I'm not doing as many videos on the channel, but I do still want to talk in depth about these films, and this podcast is going to be a way for me to do that. This is kind of the new setup with the chair hanging out with the mic off to the side, not sitting at my desk. It's more chill, and it's a place where I feel more comfortable sitting for a long period of time and talking about film. So that's my plug for the podcast, Fanatic Film Review. Go check it out. It's on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, all of that. Rate, review, subscribe, please. I want to get this out. I want people to see this. I want to have conversations about film with other like-minded film lovers. So go down in the description. Go check it out. Episode 1 is already up on the Suicide Squad. Episode 2 on Dear Evan Hansen will be up later this week, where I dive more into the toxicity of film Twitter and the overhate of film. I'm very excited to do that and have that conversation. Go check it out. Let me know. Rate, review, subscribe. And let's get into the point breakdown. Sorry, I had to do that spiel because I was considering making a video saying I had a podcast, but I was like, nah, I'll plug it on some of my other videos. So let's get into the point breakdown. All right, here we go. Entertainment, 12 out of 15. I love musicals. I'm always going to be entertained going into seeing a musical. This is no different. I really enjoyed this. I had a fun time with it, except for some of the other stuff. Performances, 12 out of 15. I think most of the performances here are pretty solid. I mean, it really is based around Caitlin Dever and Ben Platt. They are the two that are really at the forefront of this, and they are both fantastic. So, yeah, Amy Adams lost them 3 points. There you go. Writing, 8 out of 15. Guys, that's a big drop. So, again, I don't think the writing's that great. I think that there are a lot of issues about it, and this is a heavily flawed film, especially in the writing. Direction, 8 out of 10. I think it's fine. There are some choices they made that I didn't love, but I think it's fine. Emotion, 8 out of 10. It gets melodramatic at times. The emotion didn't always hit, but there were enough impactful moments that did leave me kind of in shock. Excuse me. So, I'm going to give it an 8 out of 10. Cinematography, 7 out of 10. I didn't really notice it. I noticed the very jarring editing. I didn't really notice cinematography. It was fine. So I'd give it a 7 out of 10. Sound, 3 out of 5. Probably should have rated it a bit higher because I know that they did a lot of the singing practically. Got to give credit for that, but for now, I'll just give it a 3 out of 5. The score, I'll give a 5 out of 5, and the soundtrack, I consider score and soundtrack kind of the same thing. I think it was really good. Like I said, that was one of the best parts of the film, so I gave that a 5 out of 5. Pacing, 4 out of 5. It actually did go by pretty quick. So that was pretty good. I gave rewatchability a 5 out of 5. I'll rewatch this at times. I think if I want to get really in my feelings or watch, a really, really well, a good musical, I'll watch this. So 5 out of 5 on that, and an automatic 5 out of 5 points, which means if you did the math, I gave Dear Evan Hansen a 77 out of 100. I don't think it's the monstrosity everyone thinks it is. It's incredibly flawed, but there are things about it that are good. Obviously, I'm not going to rate it, that's 3 out of 5 stars, so that's not great, but that's not bad. It's a middle-of-the-road film with some flaws that could be better. But in the end, I think it's overhated. I think it's misunderstood, and I think that there are people out there that are literally just hating it because other people are. And I don't like that. I don't think that that's the way that you should go. You should go in with your own opinion, your own reaction, and that's how you should do it. But, guys, let me know down below in the comments, what did you think of Dear Evan Hansen? Did you like it? Did you hate it? Let me know why. Again, go check out the podcast, Fanatic Film Review. Going to get more in depth about Dear Evan Hansen over there. And that's pretty much it, guys. I want to thank you all so much for watching. I want you guys to go. Okay, can you subscribe, please, if you haven't already? I didn't do a cold open. I didn't want to annoy you guys with another cold open. I didn't want to do that to you. I didn't want to. We're 2 subscribers away. We are at 789 subscribers at the time of recording this video. I need 2. I need 2 of y'all. 2. That many. I need 2 people to hit the subscribe button. If you've not already, please hit the subscribe button. You can be subscriber number 800. That's pretty cool. Be subscriber number 800. Go do it. Do it now. Go subscribe. Let's get to 1,000. I love you guys. I appreciate you. Have a great rest of your day, and we'll see you in the next video.